Howdy, this is the Biofuel Project of methane and the life of CH4 for a better Earth. So how is methane cultivated? Methane is cultivated through farm digesters and land methane captures, which are tubes underground that suck out the gas of landfills and cow farms. So they are then used for mechanical containers so that the mechanical cleaners can clean the other molecules from the pure methane to remove moisture, relieving CO2, and then it's compressed again into making renewable natural gas, which we use for everyday howdy, the cooking, electricity, heating our homes, fertilizer, and just overall something necessary, but it's also something kind of hurtful to our atmosphere. So it's also produced through anaerobic oxidation with microbes, burning biomass, and even plant animal decay. This goes with a lot of what's happening as we are raising livestock, cultivation of rice, extraction of natural gas, and collection of landfills, all which where methane is either trapped in the ground or it's being released into the atmosphere to come into a fossil fuel operation to create energy. So cows participate in this anaerobic digestion as they have microbes that allow the rumen to perform fermentation and release volatile fatty acids. This is necessary for them to handle the breakdown of grass. As grass are carbohydrates, it takes more energy and time to break down the strong carbohydrate bonds. That's where the rumen comes in. The grass and hay have more time in the rumen, which causes more um, methane to be produced when the digestive system is ending. So there's 20% by the end of the digestive process, and we need cows for medicine, food production, and property. Research that's coming into how to reduce methane is through articulating the diet of cows. So red seaweed was used in a research to um, substitute grass, but also they ended up converting it into powder and sprinkling it all over the roughage so that the cow's new diet can reduce the production of methane because seaweed is easier to break down, so it spends less time in the rumen, less time fermenting. However, there's some side effects where it can hurt the cows long term and hurt us if we're consuming them. So we also have to consider like the quantity of red seaweed as well. Like it's another factor because CO2 is increasing in our atmosphere, but it's also increasing in the ocean floor. So we're limited as well, but also taking this red seaweed outside of its environment where it's also limited. And it just takes a lot to produce, replace, and to ship for it to be a worldwide diet exercise for these cows. So some positive sides is that I think biofuels can bring in more jobs, reduce the use of fossil fuels, increase value of biomass, the government giving incentives to methane production to operations saying, hey, if you use it, we'll give you a tax break or products that are popular. So let's say you bought an EV car. There's probably going to be a little tax thing that helps you because you're buying the product that is not as popular, but they're trying to get it popular because it's also less expensive production process compared to fossil fuels. And so with this, there's still an increase of heat already, and the economy of crops are going to still decrease because more droughts are happening, and there's a lot of sun exposure. The crops won't be able to live in their environments as much because we needing money to replace, create more, and or even if we wanted to invest in shaded farming, like that takes a lot of resource out of us and what we naturally have, like people as well, not just like the operations. It can affect us with the communities living in lower income households who can't help but have the only option to live near power plants and landfills. And because they're already stressed enough about how much they're making, they're resulting in more hospital bills because they're having more health issues. So the carbon footprint has the biggest impact compared to methane. However, methane is unique because it disappears quicker over decades than thousands and millions of years. So something I came up with to kind of find a realistic outcome or a new way to like reduce reductions because fossil fuels are our biggest thing, releasing CO2 into the atmosphere, weakening our ozone, is to have electric 18-wheelers and farming tractors. But I would be more realistic with it by having hybrid because there's a little bit negative things that we can't really trust electricity, solar energy for vehicles, and it hasn't been tested either because, for example, like you need to, for large cargo, you need a lot of energy. Though if we can also having this impact of reducing methane, we can also increase recycling natural resources. The sun will always be there. We can't just tell people like don't drink as much milk, don't eat as much meat, or telling the companies to not produce or cause so much fossil fuel damage because then the employers for those big corporate companies will be affected and they won't be able to have a living wage paycheck. These are my citations. Thank you.